All right, people, here we go. Another episode of Off the Grid. You got it. This is the exit ramp. No script, no folly, no polished chapters. Daily life. Raw, live transmission from the space between. We're going off the grid to deal with the adrenaline debt and the architecture of the rebuild in real time. The rent is due every day. Let's pay it together. I want to lay some numbers out for you, okay? Not to depress you and not to make you angry either necessarily. I just want to give you an actual picture, both sides, and let that sit with you. So let's start with the supposedly good news, right? Inflation eased. As of this June, the annual rate came in at 3.5%. That's down from 4.2 the month before. First real drop in 5 months. And if you're just looking at headline numbers, that sounds like progress. Sounds like the pressure's letting up, right? Shelter costs, meaning rent, housing, also cooled a little, up 3.3% over the year, which is actually below the overall inflation number now. So on paper, housing is becoming a slightly smaller part of the problem than what it was. And that's the pro column. Genuinely. The number on the chart is moving in a direction. Now here's the other side. 65% of the population disapprove of how the economy is being handled right now, okay? That's not a small number, people. That's most of the country looking at their own life and they're saying, this isn't working for me. Groceries. 66% say a normal weekly shopping trip is unaffordable. 67% specifically call out meat and poultry. And food overall is still running 24% higher than what it was in 2022. 4 short years, right? So even with inflation easing, you're still paying a quarter more for the same cart of groceries than what you were paying a few years back. The easing doesn't roll the prices back either, okay? It just means that the price stopped climbing quite as fast. So let's move on to energy. Gas is up 27% over the year. Electricity, 4%. Hey, you want 2 specific examples? Here you go. Lettuce, 32% up. Tomatoes, 20% up. That's real money leaving your wallet every single time you go through that checkout line. And then there's the debt, okay? Household debt in this country just hit $17.8 trillion. Credit card balances broke $1.15 trillion for the first time. People, these are not numbers to be excited about. These are red flags. The average interest rate on those cards, 21.5%. People, that is not a loan. That's a trap with a monthly minimum payment. And let's talk about why. People deserve to know what's actually driving this, not just feel the pressure without understanding where it's coming from, okay? So buckle up, here we go. Tariffs are a real piece of it. The current tariff structure works out to roughly $900 in added cost per household. Some estimates say it'll be closer to $1,700 to $1,800 when the factor of the full pass-through hits the consumer prices. That's on the shelf. The effective tariff rate went from 2% to 12% in the span of a year. And like I said before, more than half of that cost gets passed straight to you at the register. It doesn't matter which register you're at, that's where it's going to hit. These are not opinions, people, okay? That is the Tax Foundation and multiple economic research groups. They're tracking these numbers. These are people that do this for a living, okay? Steel and aluminum tariffs specifically hit packaging cost. Cans, containers, anything wrapped in foil or boxed in metal adjacent materials. 50% tariffs on steel and aluminum from Canada and China. That raises the cost for food companies to package and ship things. And that cost doesn't stay with the company, it moves down the food chain to you and I, aka the consumer, right? And there's also stuff that has nothing to do with policy, okay? The U.S. cattle herd is the smallest it's been since the 1960s. That's not a tariff, that's actual supply and demand. Fewer cattle, higher beef and meat prices. Full stop. Weather disruptions are hitting coffee and produce crops in other parts of the world. Labor costs are up through the roof, and they go to the entire food chain supply from the farm to the truck to the store shelf to your wallet. So it's not one single villain. It's tariffs, it's genuinely smaller cattle supply, it's the weather, it's labor costs stacking on top of each other at an alarming rate, and it's all happening at the same time. Economists are saying the tariff impact, specifically the impact of the tariffs, hasn't even fully hit the shelves yet. It takes 12 to 18 months to show up in the prices, which means what you're paying now might not even be close to the peak. But here's what you can do with this information. You can vote. Now look, far be it from me to bring politics into anything here, but I am just the messenger bringing out the word, and here's what they have to say, okay? You can vote, and you should. With this information in mind, whatever conclusion you draw from it, so forget the labels, Democrat, Republican, Independent, left, right, upside down, none of that matters when you're struggling to get by. The people in Washington are making decisions that dictate the world you live in every single day. Listen, being a loyal party member, I get it. It doesn't pay your bills and it doesn't fix your life. Your vote is your power to send a message straight to the top. If you're dissatisfied, use your ballot to speak for you. And here's the message that I send. It doesn't necessarily need to be yours, but my message is this: you're not doing your job, so we're going to put someone else to do it. It's not about party, people. It doesn't have anything to do with party. It has to do with accountability. End of story. It's affecting your life. That's the end of it. You can also call your representatives and ask direct questions about tariff policy and what it's costing your household specifically. I mean, you can plan for it. Knowing this just means that the budgeting can be better for you, right? But the pressure continues for a while. There's no relief right around the corner, folks. It's just not going to happen. Knowledge doesn't fix your grocery bill, but it stops you from feeling crazy, okay? And it says to you where to aim your energy if you want to push for something different. So here's what I say, and let it sit with you. The official number says things are improving, right? Inflation is down, housing's cooling, technically true. But the live number, the one you're feeling when you're doing the math on ground beef or staring at the credit card balance that keeps climbing even though you're paying it down, that tells a completely different story. Both are true at the same time, and that's not a contradiction. That's economics zoomed out versus economics zoomed into somebody's actual kitchen table. So I'm not here to speak to you about which matters more. You already know, based on what your bank account actually looks like right now. And don't let anybody say it's hopeless either. There are real small signs the pressure is easing at a macro level, just painfully slow, slower than the bills that don't wait. So, hold both truths. The chart's trending better. Your wallet might not feel it. You get to decide what you do with that. Cut back, ask for a raise, have the hard conversation at the kitchen table. But now you're deciding with the whole picture, not just a headline. And it makes a difference, people. And remember this, the rent is due every day, right? Something to think about, folks, okay? I can't say it enough, but you know the story. Until next time, stay off the grid.